It is called Konan, Trapped in Trauma, and it is streaming on Channel 4. In this documentary, Konan shows you his own therapy sessions with his therapist, and the documentary focuses on PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. There are also themes of guilt, needing to be strong, even though nobody tells you to, and not telling anyone about your experience. In fact, Conan sits down to discuss things with his childhood friend for the very first time on this documentary. More than 3,000 16 to 24-year-olds struggle with PTSD, many of whom are undiagnosed. I definitely know people who have or have had PTSD at some stage in their lives, and the documentary shows you how it looks for these men and women within the community. This program is powerful because Conan wants people to benefit from seeing him and hearing him talk about his experience and see him having his therapy. And he's right, being that one person can change someone else's life and help them to access the help they need, so they at least feel like it's safe enough to open up and be honest about how they really feel. So important, specifically for Black men who we know don't talk as much as the rest of us. We get to see how lifelines are used, which is a popular tool that I use in therapy. And one of the things that the therapist says, which I love, is when you shut off emotionally from feeling sad or guilty, for example, you shut down all the other emotions too. You shut down happiness, joy, and love. You don't get to choose. And this is one of the reasons why it's so important to be able to express all of your emotions and let them go, and to work through them so that you can still keep accessing the rest of the ones that you actually want. And that's why I always say feelings are designed to flow through you. What really strikes me with this program and the one that I reviewed before is the fact that these men are grown. They're in their 30s and they're having these conversations with people that they've known for really long just now. And it shows again how important it is to talk. It's not just about saying, how are you? What's life like? Are you good? Like, no, we need to go deep. We need to go personal, and we need to actually say what we're feeling, what our experience is, without mocking each other and taking it as a joke, but to actually take it seriously and think about the impact that these things are having on us every day. We educate and we support each other when we tell the truth. There's one part where Conan's friend relates to what he's hearing, and he acknowledges that there are people that don't experience these things at all. And for a long time, he felt like it was normal. For example, some people leave their house and they don't have any worries at all. And again, it just highlights why we have to keep talking about mental health. Having these conversations about the symptoms and about the signs tells us what it means, first of all, to have PTSD, but it also helps you understand what help looks like. And if we don't know what it looks like, then why would we want to go and get it? It helps you when you talk about these things because it shows you what you actually do in sessions and how professionals can help you. It also helps people to see that there is a better life and a better experience out there for them. One of the people in the documentary said it actually feels like somebody spoke to them like a human, and that they actually heard them and listened to what they had to say. Waiting lists for PTSD are very long in the NHS. They can take up to 2 years in some areas. And so people can feel very lost. But private therapies can help you, even if it's just for a short time. Conan has some really real emotions and reactions in the documentary where he gets in touch with his emotions and he starts to release them. So he's crying, he's sighing, he's almost kind of shaking at one point, which is really good because when you have trauma, you have built up emotions and you want to be able to release them over time, preferably so that it's not overwhelming. And so what we're seeing is Conan having an emotional release, and it can be really tempting to go in and rescue someone with a sorry, or to make it all better, or to discourage them. But the body really needs that release. It's important. We are vulnerable. We help others do the same. It's important to just be in that space with them and hold them, just to be present, because you want to acknowledge what they're feeling and what they've been through. You can't do that if you're trying to take it away or ignore it. Conan later connects with and shares what he's learned from the therapist and what she's told him. That's why I always say that talking is just the start. When you're talking to the right person about the right things they're able to give you the right advice. They're able to listen to you and to have the knowledge to be able to hold you. And that goes a long way. This part really got me because there's a bit where Konan is explaining and recognizing something that I always say. You need to let your emotions flow through you. Konan learned that, and he started to challenge other people who are coming to him with the same past mentality. Not because they mean him any harm or because they don't wish him well, but because they don't know any different. And because he's done the therapy now, he's able to say, no, we don't want to do that anymore. They talk about triggers. You can see the therapist validating Konan. And when I say that, I mean she's not judging him. She's accepting his experiences and she's making it okay for him to have that experience. And she's even going further with him to find out more about why he's experiencing the things that he does. Very, very important in helping you to be able to process what you've experienced. 16 to 24-year-olds with PTSD are twice as likely to have committed a violent offence by the age of 18 and are twice as likely to not be in education, employment or training at the age of 18. These are serious statistics, so just let that sink in for a moment. A very powerful moment towards the end is where Konan is having a conversation with his mum and he's sharing with her about what the therapy experience has done for him. All I can do is put my heart on my chest because it's such a sweet moment and it just shows you how rewarding therapy can be when you get to that point where you see the impact and you hear the impact that it has on clients. It's just amazing. But I also had to pick up Conan's mum because she was so supportive of her son. Not only did she have her own therapy to deal with the situation, she encouraged him. Instead of saying, you don't need therapy, you don't need medication, there's typical non-positive or helpful responses. She didn't say any of that. She was supportive and then she validated him. That's going to support his journey so much more because it's coming from a person who actually loves and cares about him, somebody that he's known. So when you get that from people that you don't know, it can still do something, but it doesn't mean the same amount as coming from somebody that actually knows you and has that relationship with you. Konan is very open through the whole documentary about who this is for. It's for the man them. So you need to share this with them. They need to watch it. They need to have these conversations because it's them that need to understand that you have to be open. You have to be honest. One of the main reasons why therapists do what they do, social workers, mental health professionals, youth workers, is because most of the time they've been through something that they don't want other people to go through. I'm really proud of Konan and the other people in the documentary for stepping up to the plate and showing people what therapy is really like. I've got mad respect for him as well because he did this while trying to find that healing and peace for himself. So now it's your turn. Go and watch it, share it, and more importantly, have those conversations with the people that you know.